On the 6th of June, all of the 20 Premier League clubs will come into a meeting, they will have a discussion, and then they will all vote on whether they think VAR should be scrapped. And this VAR system that has been in the Premier League for about the past 5 years has been very, very controversial, and this is for many reasons, but the biggest reason for this is that a lot of the wrong decisions seem to go against certain clubs, and a lot of those clubs seem to be like the lower ranked clubs. And this has really caused fans, some players and even managers to really think that this system still does favour the big clubs. However, what they don't really understand is it's still the officials making the decisions. It's not actually the VAR system that's making the decision. The VAR system just kind of shows the replay and draws those offside lines that people really don't like. So yeah, all of these clubs will come together and vote on if they think VAR should remain in the Premier League, and this vote was actually triggered when Wolves submitted a formal letter to the Premier League suggesting a resolution to VAR. And teams can actually do this. If they see something that they don't like, or they see something that they think is wrong or that should be changed, they can actually formally submit a letter, or it's called a resolution, to the Premier League, and then they can actually have a meeting about it. It will be discussed, and then after that meeting there will be a vote to see if the resolution should be kind of put through, I think they say. So obviously over the last 5 years, like I said, VAR has been controversial. However, the Premier League does remain supportive of it, which I do find interesting, because the Premier League really are the only people that have the big overview of it, and they're really the only people that look at that, to be honest. So with this, the Premier League has said that VAR has improved the correct decisions in the Premier League from 82%, which was before VAR. So ever since VAR has been introduced, the correct decisions have gone from 82% before VAR all the way up to 96% since VAR was actually introduced. And I do find this interesting because a lot of fans, the way they talk about VAR, you would think that you would think that it's a lot lower than 96%. The way some fans talk about it, you think it's a lot lower than 82%. So really, this shows that VAR has actually made more correct decisions, and it has made the game better, within the rules. However, the problem here is that a lot of people is that it slows the game down, and when a goal is scored, they have to go to, a lot of the time they have to go to VAR to see if there's anything really in the build-up, or whether the goal was like just offside or something, and people complain that, it slows the game down, you don't know whether you can celebrate. However, I do find this very hypocritical of the fans, which, let's be honest, all sports fans are very hypocritical, because before all of this VAR stuff came in, people were complaining a lot about decisions and bad decisions. So then they bring in a system to combat this, and when it isn't perfect straight away, they start complaining, say it's ruining the game. And if I'm brutally honest, this really hasn't ruined the game, it's just slowed the game down a bit, and this is kind of what annoys me about football fans a lot. Something new is brought in, and then they don't actually give this a chance whatsoever. So really, I think that this resolution is good, but I don't think it's good to just scrap it. I think they kind of need to change it, because they can obviously make the game flow a bit more, and I think there could be ways to do that. I can't think of any off the top of my head right now, but the fact that the correct decisions have gone from 82% to 96%, I really do think means you have to keep it, because if you get rid of it, then you're going to have a lot more controversial decisions, and I promise you, fans are going to go back to moaning about how bad the officials are, which is what they were moaning about before. So back on to the topic. For VAR to be totally scrapped, 14 out of the 20 teams need to vote to get rid of VAR. So obviously that's a majority. That's about 2/3 of the team, just over 2/3 of the team, who need to vote to scrap it for them to actually get rid of it. So obviously a majority. So now you can think who is against this. And obviously, I'm not going to have the intel to know who is against it and who isn't. So this kind of will be based off my subjective opinion of what I've heard about teams, the teams that have had the most decisions go against them and go for them. So for getting rid of VAR, the teams that I would have for this would be Wolves, Nottingham Forest and West Ham United. Those are the three teams that I've kind of seen that have had the decisions go against them the most. And obviously with Wolves and Nottingham Forest, they have come out and actually said a lot about this, especially with Nottingham Forest putting out statements on Twitter, and then Wolves actually making the formal letter and the resolution. And then West Ham, they've had quite a few decisions go against them, so it wouldn't surprise me if they voted to get rid of it. Then for the teams who I'm not sure about, I went with Leicester City, Ipswich Town, Leeds or Southampton, whoever gets promoted from the playoffs. And those three teams, they're the teams that are just coming up, so it's kind of hard to tell which side they will go on, so I'm not really sure about them. And then Brentford, Bournemouth and Everton, they haven't really said too much about it, and plus they haven't had a load of decisions go against them. So those 6 teams, I'm kind of in the middle, they could go either way. However, the teams for keeping VAR, I've got a few here. I've got Liverpool, Arsenal, Aston Villa, Man City, Man United, Tottenham Hotspur, Chelsea. Those teams, those are kind of like the big teams that the decisions usually go in favour of. Not all the time, but a lot of them do go in favour of them. So I think that they will probably vote to keep it. And then the other teams I've got are Crystal Palace, Newcastle United, Fulham and Brighton and Hove Albion. So those teams just kind of don't always have the decisions go their way, but it's not like they have a lot of decisions go against them. So that's why I've put those teams in the bracket where I say they would keep VAR. So really, I think if we're going to go to the teams who are not sure and put them in either in one or the other, I think that Leicester, Ipswich and Leeds or Southampton, I do think that they would probably go in for keeping it because they don't have it in the Championship, so they would probably go for keeping it. And then Brentford, Bournemouth or Everton are really a toss-up, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them went for getting rid of it. However, here, if I am anywhere near being correct on where these teams are, getting rid of VAR, keeping VAR, you can obviously see that it is very, very unlikely that the teams 14 teams will come and vote to get rid of it. So if I'm honest, I don't think that they will vote to kind of get rid of VAR. What I think will happen is they'll vote to keep it, but then the league will probably look at how they can make it better, because the concerns that have been brought up by Wolves and Nottingham Forest are legitimate and they could do with being looked at. So overall, I do think that this vote is good because the concerns of VAR and the concerns of decisions going against certain teams and the wrong decisions going against certain teams, I do think do need to be brought up because they need to get as close to 100% decision making as they can. Obviously they'll never get to 100%, the wrong decision will be made every now and then, but the closer they can get to 100% the better. So overall I do think that the vote is a good thing. It's just that I don't think they should completely get rid of it. They should always work to improve a system like this, because systems like this are good. So those are my thoughts on the upcoming vote of whether the Premier League should keep or scrap VAR. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Do you think they should keep it, or do you think they should just completely scrap it and go back to how it was before? If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. Also, if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing to the channel. And yeah, thank you for listening to the video, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.